resources. Now the part we have done first part, and this is the second part we would be going to do. So in this part we would be starting with the natural resources. Now any stock or the reserve that can be withdrawn from the nature is a natural resource. So उसको हम जो है natural resource बोलेंगे. Now the major natural resource. The major natural resources are land, forest, water, mineral, and the energy. Now, India is rich in the natural resources, but majority of the Indians they are poor. So हम बात करें तो जो है ये भारत में जो है पुअर बहुत ज़्यादा है. ठीक है, नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज तो बहुत हैं इंडिया में, बट उतनी ही जनसंख्या भी है, उतने ही गरीब लोग भी हैं. The nature has provided with the diverse climate, several rivers for the irrigation and power generation, rich mineral, the rich forest, and the diverse soil. Now, types of the natural resources. So, दो प्रकार के natural resources हैं. एक है renewable resources, इसमें दूसरा हमारा आता है the renewable resources that can be regenerated in a given span of the time. एग्जाम्पल की अगर हम बात करें जैसे कि फॉरेस्ट हो गया, वाइल्ड लाइफ हो गया, विंड हो गया, बायोमास, टाइडल हाइड्रो एनर्जी, ये सब इनको हम रिन्यू कर सकते हैं, तो ये रिन्यूएबल हो गए. वहीं दूसरा अगर हम बात करें, दूसरा हमारे यहाँ आता है नॉन रिन्यूएबल रिसोर्सेज, जिनको दोबारा यूज नहीं किया जा सकता, दोबारा रिन्यू नहीं किया जा सकता. जैसे कि हमारा हो गया फॉसिल फ्यूल्स. एक बार आपने जो है पेट्रोल डीजल डलवा लिया, यूज कर लिया, तो आपका खत्म हो गया वो. देन अगला आता है कोल, पेट्रोलियम, मिनरल्स एटसेट्रा. देन लैंड रिसोर्सेज की अगर बात करें, इन द टर्म्स ऑफ द एरिया, इंडिया रैंक्स द 7th इन द वर्ल्ड विद अ टोटल एरिया ऑफ 32.8 लाख स्क्वायर किलोमीटर, और ये अकाउंट करता है 2.42% ऑफ द टोटल लैंड एरिया ऑफ द वर्ल्ड. नाउ अगर हम एब्सोल्यूट टर्म्स में अगर हम बात करें तो इंडिया एक बिग कंट्री है. इंडिया इज अ बिग कंट्री. हाउएवर अगर लैंड मास रेशियो में अगर बात करें, इट इज नॉट फेवरेबल बिकॉज ऑफ द ह्यूज पॉपुलेशन साइज. बहुत बड़ा जो है जनसंख्या यहाँ पर भारत में आपको देखने को मिलती है. नाउ एग्रीकल्चर सेंसस के अकॉर्डिंग अगर हम बात करें तो जो एरिया है वो ऑपरेटेड बाय द लार्ज होल्डिंग्स 10 हेक्टेयर्स एंड द अबव हम इसमें बात करेंगे. देन हैज डिक्लाइन एंड द एरिया ऑपरेटेड अंडर द मार्जिनल होल्डिंग्स, जो कि लेस देन 1 हेक्टेयर है, वो इंक्रीज हो गए हैं. दे हैव बीन इंक्रीज्ड. Now this indicates that the land is being fragmented and became ineconomic. सो जो लैंड है वो फ्रेगमेंटेड हो गई है, मतलब कि बट जाती है. एग्रीकल्चर होल्डिंग, जैसे ही जनसंख्या बढ़ेगी, पीढ़ी दर पीढ़ी जो है लैंड कम होती जाएगी. नेक्स्ट आपका आता है फॉरेस्ट रिसोर्सेज. नाउ इंडियाज फॉरेस्ट कवर इन द 2007 इज द 69.09 मिलियन हेक्टेयर, जो कि कॉन्स्टिट्यूट करता है 21.02% ऑफ द टोटल जियोग्राफिकल एरिया. इसमें अगर हम बात करें 8.35 मिलियन हेक्टेयर, उसमें जो है घने फॉरेस्ट मिलेंगे, डेट इज द डेंस फॉरेस्ट. देन द 31.90 मिलियन हेक्टेयर इज मॉडरेटली डेंस फॉरेस्ट है. द रेस्ट जो बच गया 28.84 मिलियन हेक्टेयर, ये ओपन फॉरेस्ट है. नाउ रिसेंटली आवर प्राइम मिनिस्टर फ्रॉम द रेड फोर्ट, ही हैज अनाउंस्ड दैट, ही हैज सेड दैट उस हमारे जो है the Prime Minister of the India, he said that the forest resources, if we talk about that, it has increased. And there was a question in the 2019 ecology part or the environment part. There was a question related to the forest cover. So you have to arrange the forest in a line. So the forest, there were the four options. So the maximum forest is in the Madhya Pradesh, then comes the Maharashtra, then the option was the Odisha, and the last option was your the other one was the Karnataka. So like this, the UPSC will give you the four options. Now, important mineral resources. Now, first comes the first important mineral resource is the iron ore. Now, iron ore possesses the high quality iron ore in the abundance. बहुत ज़्यादा संख्या में, मात्रा में, in the abundance we have the iron ore. Now, in geography, we study that the iron ore in the India is not of the good quality. Now, the total reserves of the iron ore in the country is abundant at the 14.630 million tons of the hematite and the 10,619 million of the magnetite. Now, hematite iron ये कहाँ पर मिलेगा? Hematite iron you will find in the Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Odisha, Goa and Karnataka. Whereas if I talk to you about the major deposit of the magnetite, so magnetite, the major amount of the magnetite iron is available in the western coast of the Karnataka. Now, some deposits of the iron ore are also found in the Kerala, Tamil Nadu and the Andhra Pradesh. Now, if we talk about the best quality of the coal, that is anthracite, you will find in the, there is a part is the Cote d'Ivoire in the JNK, and the other one has the sulfur. Now, coal is considered good or bad with regard to the sulfur it possesses. Now, coal is the largest available mineral resource. Now, India ranks third. इंडिया की रैंकिंग कितनी है? तीसरी है वर्ल्ड में आफ्टर चाइना एंड द यूएसए इन कोल प्रोडक्शन में. Now, the main center of the coal in India are the West Bengal, Bihar, the Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Odisha, and the Andhra Pradesh. The bulk of the coal production it comes from the Bengal, Jharkhand coal mines. मैंने पहले भी बताया था, I have told you earlier also, the movie Gangs of Wasipur, it is based on the coal fields and related activity. Next comes the bauxite. Now, if we talk about the bauxite, bauxite is the main source of the metal like the aluminium. Now, major reserves are concentrated in the east coast bauxite deposit of the Odisha and the Andhra Pradesh. Next comes is the mica. Now, mica अगर हम बात करें, mica is a heat resisting mineral. So the characteristics of the mica is it is a heat resisting mineral which is also a bad conductor. वो क्या है? Bad conductor electricity का. Now it is used in the electrical equipment use करते हैं. We use in the electrical equipment as an insulator. Now, India stands the first in the sheet mica production and contributes 60% of the mica trade in the world. Now, the important mica bearing pegmatite is found in the Andhra Pradesh, the Jharkhand, Bihar, and the Rajasthan. Next comes is the crude oil. Oil is being explored in the India at many places. Assam and the Gujarat. Now, Digboy, Badarpur, the Nahakatia, Kasimpur, Palaria, Rudrapur, Shivsagar, Mon, all in the Assam, and Hay of the Khambat, Ankaleshwar and the Kalal, all in the Gujarat. So there are the two major areas of the abundance that you find. Where you find them? You will find them in the Ankleshwar, the Gujarat, and the Assam has the major are the important places of the oil exploration in India. Next comes is the gold. Now India possesses only a limited gold reserve. भारत के पास सिर्फ limited gold reserve है. Now there are only three main gold mine regions. वो कौन कौन से? There are, now your geography part is also covered here. Remember that your geography is also covered here. And the gold part, India possesses only a limited gold reserve. There are only three main gold reserve. All these you have to remember. These are the Kolar Goldfield, the Kolar district, and the Hooty Goldfield, Raichur district. So one is the Kolar Goldfield, Kolar district में है. दूसरा आपका Hooty Goldfield in the Raichur district, and next comes is the Ramgiri Goldfield in the Anantapur district, Andhra Pradesh. So Kolar district, Karnataka, and Andhra Pradesh, they are the famous for the gold. Now next comes is the diamond. Now if we talk about the diamond, as per the UNECE, the total reserve of the diamond, it is estimated at around 4,582,000 carat, which are mostly available. कहाँ पर मिलेगा? Panna in the Maharashtra. So Panna is a famous for the tiger reserve, Panna tiger reserve. UPSC's favorite thing. Then the Ramalkota of the Kurnur district of the Andhra Pradesh, and the basins of the Krishna river, you will find the diamond here. Now the new Kimberlil fields have been discovered in the Raipur and the Pastar district of the Nopala and the Bargarh district of the Odisha. Narayanpet, Madhupur, the Krishna areas of the Andhra Pradesh, and the Raichur, the Gulbarga district of the Karnataka. Now next comes is about the infrastructure. अगली हम बात करेंगे about the infrastructure क्या है. So infrastructure development means the development of the many support facilities. Now these facilities may be divided into, पहला अगर हम बात करें इनको divide करेंगे, economic infrastructure होगा. It may be your economic infrastructure. The other comes the social infrastructure. Now economic infrastructure ये include करेगा the transport, the communication, energy, irrigation, monetary, and the financial institutions. So they come in the economic infrastructure. The other thing is the social infrastructure. It include the education, the health, the training, the research, housing, and the civic amenities. So these are the simple infrastructure divided into the two parts: the economic and the social. Economic, transport, communication, energy, irrigation, monetary, and the financial, whereas the social, education, training, research, health, housing, and the civic amenities. Next comes the economic infrastructure. Economic infrastructure is the support system which helps in the facilitating the production and the distribution. You require economic. Now our prime minister, he is also focusing more on the economic infrastructure. So such as the waterways he is focusing on the improvement of the highways, the string of the pearl, that it is also based. So all these, they are based to provide the economic infrastructure that will in turn increase the export of the country, and the trade will be increased. Now for instance, the railway, truck, post, telegraph offices, post, canal, power plants, banks, insurance companies, etc. are all economic infrastructure of the economy. They help in the production of the goods and services. Now if you have the cheap availability of these things, you are at the higher advantage. Now if we talk about the transport, now for the sustained economic growth of the country, a well connected and efficient transport system is Great. Now, what do you require? You require that if you are building a, for example, if you are a worker and you are a manufacturer and you are engaged in making the cell phones, आप मोबाइल फोन बनाते हो, सेल फोन जो है, and you transport them for the sale to India and also to the foreign countries. Now, for that, you require the transport system, good infrastructure transport system, and the cheap one also is required. Now, India has a good network of the rail, the road, coastal shipping, and the air transport. Now, the total length of the road. Now, ये जो this the transport system of the India you study in the 11th 12th class of the geography textbook, वहाँ पर हम पढ़ते हैं इसको. Now, India has a good network of the rail, road, coastal shipping, and the air transport. The total length of the roads in the India being over 30 lakh kilometer. India has one of the largest road networks in the world. Now, in terms of the railroads, India has the broad network of the rail lines, the largest in the Asia and the fourth largest in the world. Now, can someone tell the Shubh Sumita to join? I have allowed her. So, अब वो join कर सकती है. बाकी सब present हैं, एक से वही absent है. Now, can someone please message in the group? Now, the total rail route length is about 63,000 kilometer, and of this 13,000 kilometer is electrified. इसमें से जो 13,000 किलोमीटर है that is electrified. The major Indian ports, including the Calcutta, Mumbai, Chennai, Visakhapatnam, Goa, they handle about the 90% of the seaborne trade and are visited by the cargo carriers and the passenger liners from all the parts of the world. A comprehensive network of the air routes connect the major cities and the towns of the country. The domestic air services are being looked after by Indian Airlines and the private airlines. The international airport service is looked by the Air India. Now, Indian Railway, it provides the Wi-Fi facility. First in India is the Bangalore railway station. Now, Bangalore is a IT hub area. Now, all these big IT companies, they are stationed at the Bangalore itself. Now, this also the new this app which we are using, it is also stationed at the in the Bangalore itself. And the Indian Airlines were merged on the August 27, 2007 to form the National Aviation Company of the India. So there are some facts they have mentioned. The National Harbour Board was set up in 1950 to advise the central and the state governments on the management and the development of the ports, particularly the minor ports. Now, this was about the infrastructure. Now, next comes the energy. The electrical energy is one of the necessary component of our life. Nowadays, without the electricity, we cannot survive in this world of the technology. The energy sources are classified into the two heads based on the availability of the raw material used. Now, while generating the energy, now these are of two types. One is the non-renewable and the other is renewable. At the beginning of the chapter, we have studied what are the non-renewable and what are the renewable sources. Now, non-renewable resources, as the name suggests, the sources of the energy which cannot be renewed, जिनको renew नहीं किया जा सकता है, the sources of the energy which cannot be renewed or reused are called as the non-renewable energy sources. Basically, these are the energy sources which will get exhausted over a period of time. कुछ समय के बाद ये जो है खत्म हो जाएंगे. Now, some of the examples of this kind of the resources are the coal, oil, gas, etc. Now, next comes is the renewable energy sources. Now, these are the kind of the resources, energy sources, which can be renewed or reused again and the again, बार बार जिनका आप इस्तेमाल कर सकते हो. Now, these kinds of the material, if I talk to you, they do not exhaust, or literally speaking, these are available in the abundance or the infinite quantity. Now, for example, the solar energy. That's why our Prime Minister is focusing, and he has established the International Solar Alliance. कहाँ पर? COP 15 at the Paris. Now, other is the wind energy, tidal, geothermal, and the biomass energy. So, our Prime Minister's focus is on the solar and the biomass energy, these renewable energy. Now, sometimes renewable sources are also called non-conventional sources of the energy. कई बार हम इनको क्या बोलते हैं? Non-conventional sources of the energy भी कहा जाता है. Since these kinds of the material or these ways of the energy production were not used earlier or conventionally. Now, this was the topic about the renewable, non-renewable, the energy. So there are two types of the energy, but one is renewable, other is non-renewable. The other topic is about the social infrastructure. The social infrastructure refers to those structures which are improving the quality of the manpower and contribute indirectly towards the growth of the economy. So basically हम इनकी बात करें, if I give you the example, these may be your the health, there's your hospitals, then your schools, colleges. So these are the social infrastructure that the government builds now towards the growth of an economy. Now these structures are outside the system of the production and the distribution. ये GDP में help नहीं कर रहे हैं. These are not helping in the GDP because GDP is related to the production. कुछ भी produce हो रहा है country में एक साल के अंदर वो GDP है. So these are the your extra investment we can say. So that is done. So social infrastructure. The development of these social structures help in the increasing the efficiency and the productivity of the manpower. So best example we can say that the Skill India initiative by the Indian government, or that scheme, it focuses on the skilling. For example, the schools, college, hospitals, and the other civic amenities. It is a fact that one of the reason for the low productivity of the Indian workers is lack of the development of the social infrastructure. So this point you can mention in your exam. आप exam में लिख के आ सकते हो कि the low productivity का एक कारण क्या है? That is the social infrastructure. Now, if you study today's newspaper, the Indian Express, there is an article that is talk about the Atmanirbhar China. So, how China became self-sufficient and the globalization is more beneficial for the China. And there is an article on the first page of the Indian Express. It talks about our GDP growth. So of the first quarter GDP का डाटा आने वाला है. एग्रीकल्चर को छोड़ के बाकी सेक्टर्स में बुरा हाल होने वाला है. Now do read the newspaper. some कुछ insight मिल जाते हैं, कुछ चीजें मिल जाती हैं. Something you will find that is beneficial for your exam. Now next comes is the education, and from tomorrow I would be conducting the current affair classes for all of you, and I would be telling you the time, and monthly a magazine will also be provided by me of the current affairs. Now education in India. Now imparting the education on an organized basis date back to the days of the Gurukul in the India. Now, since then, the Indian education system has flourished and developed with the growing need of the economy. The Ministry and the Human Resource Development MHRD in India, they formulate the education policy in India, and also they undertakes the education programs. Now, about the education system in India. Now, education in India, until you study the history, in history also education system during British time, during the Mughal time, you study that history, the history of the education system. Now, it is in the post the independence era. The education in India until the 1976 was the responsibility of the state governments. Now, it was then brought under the concurrent list. So that is the both the central and the state. The center is represented by the Ministry of the Human Resource Development, decides the India's education budget. Now this MHRD, it has been now changed. Now this ये अब ये outdated हो गया. Now अब what you have to study, you have to study new education policy, national education policy. Now, the education system in India consists of the primary, sixth level, the nursery, primary, secondary, higher secondary, graduation, and the post graduation. Now, institutions in India. Now, education in India follows the 10+2 pattern. For higher education, there are various state-run as well as the private institutions and the universities. They are providing a variety of the courses and the subjects. The accreditation of the university is decided under the University Grants Commission. So मान्यता कौन प्राप्त करता है इनको? UGC. The education department consists of the various school, colleges, universities imparting the education on the fair means for all the sections of the society. The budget share of the education sector is around 3% of the GDP. Of the largest proportion goes for the school education. Now, however, per pupil expenditure is lowest for the school student. Now, there are some favorite topics of the UPSC in the mains if we talk about. So, education will definitely help you. Now, if health, education, health, there would be definitely a question in the mains, and that will, and the new thing that has been new trend is about the pollution or the environment question related to the pollution or the climate change. That is, these are the favorite. So your mains exam, it is predetermined. So उसमें हम अंदाजा लगा सकते हैं, पहले ही बता सकते हैं कि यूपीएससी क्या पूछने वाला है, what UPSC is going to ask. The other is different. Now, health in India. Health in India is a state government's responsibility. The Central Council of the Health and the Welfare, it formulates the various healthcare projects, and health department, it reform the policies. The administration of the health industry in India as well as the technical needs of the health sector are the responsibility of the Ministry of the Health and the Welfare. The healthcare in India has many forms. Now, these are the Ayurvedic medicine practice, Unani, the Galenic herbal care, homeopathy, allopathy, yoga, and many more. Now, each different healthcare form has its own treatment system. अपना अपना treatment system है और practice है. So, in the time of the COVID, we have seen that all medical systems are now under one ministry, that is the Ayush Ministry. Now, healthcare services in India. Now, the healthcare services in India are mainly the responsibility of the Ministry of the Health. Now, state-wise health status is better कहाँ पर है? In the Kerala. This you note down that the state-wise the best is in the Kerala as compared to the other states. Now, compared to the other developed countries, India's health status is not satisfactory. अगर हम दूसरे देशों के हिसाब से देखें तो भारत का अच्छा नहीं है हाल it is not good. Now, India's health, it is not satisfactory. India's health status is poor compared to the Sri Lanka. Now, in if a question comes in the main, one of the reason that you would be mentioning would be the excess population, demographic dividend is high in India. Now, this becomes an important topic. Now, we would be going some thinkers regarding the economics and their contribution to the economics. So, first comes is the Thiruvalluvar. So, it is from the South India. The economic ideas of the Thiruvalluvar are found in the immortal work in Tirukural, a book of the ethics. Now, even though the scholars differ widely over the estimation of the period of the Thiruvalluvar, it is generally believed he belonged to the Sangam age in Tamil Nadu around the 3rd century AD. Thiruvalluvar's work is marked by the pragmatic idealism. A large part of the Valluvar economic ideas are found in the second part of the Tirukural, the Portugal. It deals with the wealth. Thiruvalluvar is a fundamental thinker. He believes that the rains are basic support of the life. Since rain provide food, rain क्या provide करती है? Food. It forms the basis for this stable economic life. Agriculture, which is most fundamental economic activity, it depends upon the rain. It is rain that both ruins and the aids the ruined to rise. So rain जो है दोनों तरीके से help करती है. It helps in the both the ways. Now these are important. The thinkers which we are doing, they are important for the mains. Now for prelims you don't have to refer these topic. Now about the factors of the production. Factors of the production की बात करें सबसे पहले. Thiruvalluvar has made many passing references about the factors of the production, the land, labor, capital, organization, time, technology, etc. He says that the unfailing harvest, competent body of the men, group of the men whose wealth knows no diminution are the components of an economy. Next comes is the agriculture. What he has said about the agriculture. According to the Thiruvalluvar, agriculture is most fundamental economic activity. सबसे जरूरी activity है agriculture. They are the axle pin of the world. Now you can use these statement writing the agriculture. If a question comes on the agriculture, if a question comes on the environment, wherever you require, you can write the quotes of these thinkers. For on their prosperity revolves their prosperity revolves the prosperity of the other sectors of the economy. The plowman alone, he says, live as free men of the soil. The rest are mere slaves that follow on their toil. That is written in the Quran. However, believes that the agriculture is superior to all other occupation. Agriculture बाकी सब occupation से superior है. Now public finance, if I talk to you about the public finance, Thiruvalluvar has elaborately explained the public finance under the heading public revenue, financial administration and the public expenditure. He has stated these as the one, creation of the revenue, second, collection of the revenue, third he said it as the management of the revenue, and fourth उसने बोला it as public expenditure. Now go, ये चीजें आपको सिर्फ रेफरेंस के लिए देखनी है for writing a good answer. UPSC will never ask you that what was the economics point of view of the Thirukular. वो कभी नहीं पूछेगा UPSC आपसे. But for the reference point, your point, you can mention it. अपने अच्छा आंसर लिखने के लिए, for writing a good answer, you can refer this. That's why I am taking this. Next comes is the public finance. अगली अगर हम बात करें public expenditure की बात करते हैं, Valluvar has recommended a balanced budget. It is not a great misfortune for a state if its revenue are limited, provided the expenditure is kept within the bounds. He has given certain guidelines for a budgetary policy. budget for a surplus if possible, balances the budget at the other times, but never budget for a deficit. Valuer advocates the following main items of the public expenditure. सबसे पहले डिफेंस पर खर्चा किया जाता है, देन पब्लिक वर्क्स पर एंड सोशल सर्विसेज पर. एक्सटर्नल असिस्टेंस. वलुवर अर्ज अगेंस्ट द सीकिंग द एक्सटर्नल असिस्टेंट, बाहरी सहायता नहीं लेने के वो अगेंस्ट थे कि किसी दूसरे देश से, फ्रॉम अदर कंट्रीज. अकॉर्डिंग टू द कुरल नंबर 739, कंट्रीज टेकिंग एक्सटर्नल असिस्टेंस आर नॉट टू बी कंसिडर्ड एज कंट्रीज एट ऑल. In other words, he advocated a self-sufficient economy. The same thing the Mahatma Gandhi also emphasized. Poverty and the begging. Valuer considers freedom from the hunger as one of the fundamental freedoms that should be enjoyed by every citizen. According to him, the poverty is the root cause of the all other evils which would lead to the everlasting suffering. It is to be noted that the number of the people living below the poverty line, begging, sleeping on the roadsides, and the rag picking in India has been increasing. Next comes is the wealth. Valuer has regarded wealth as only a means and not an end. So इसने wealth को क्या बोला? He called it as the mean and not an end. He said that the acquire a great fortune by noble and honorable means. He condemned hoarding and described hoarded wealth as the profitless, the riches. To him, the industry is the real wealth and the labor is the greatest resource. ये last वाली statement you can use in your exam. तो इनके लिए क्या था? The industry is the real wealth and the labor is the greatest resource. Then comes is the welfare state. Thiruvalluvar is for a welfare state. In a welfare state, there will be no poverty, illiteracy, disease, and the industry. So, welfare state where you mention in the Constitution DSP Part 4. Now, the important element of the welfare state are number one, perfect health of the people without disease, the abundant wealth, and the good crop, the prosperity and the happiness, and the full security and the for the people of the for the people. Two, three. Okay, next we will be doing the tomorrow. So next 5 thinkers: Mahatma Gandhi, the Jawaharlal Nehru, B.R. Ambedkar, then J.C. Kumarappa and Amritya Sen. They are very important because Mahatma Gandhi, if you mention, and the Jawaharlal Nehru, you have to mention B.R. Ambedkar. These are the personality you have to mention in your exam. Without mentioning these people, your answer is incomplete. So tomorrow we would be doing this, and the third and the last part of this chapter would be tomorrow.